Man, she was bitchy, but those scallops that she made. Geez, he was boring, but in the bedroom, whoa. I didn't like him, but my kids liked him. Do you know those people? They have one redeeming quality that makes either them or the relationship not a total bust. It's not enough to sustain it, and it's not enough to revisit it, so it's not a recidivist relationship, but it certainly is enough to remember it. And you absolutely want to be remembered, which brings me to the next one, the one you never think about. An ex of mine years ago, she actually wrote a dating memoir, and I didn't even make the book. We dated 2 years, and we dated 2 years before she wrote the book. And in the book was not one word about me. Nada. You don't want to be that guy. Trust me, that I made no lasting impression whatsoever. And we have lots of these people. I would rather she thought I was a jerk and gave me a chapter or at least a mention. She gave me nothing. And what you want to be is the next one. And the next one is the one they still think about. The one that's still in their minds, the one that still takes up a percentage of their thought every day or every so often. A few years ago, a girl I dated literally 25 years ago reached out to me via, I think it was Facebook Messenger or something, totally out of the blue. And she said, "Hey, I hope you're well. And I just wanted to say I'm sorry about that fight that we had in Providence that time." So I don't know if this was an AA, like I got to make amends or whatever, but for whatever reason, she felt motivated to reach out and say, "I'm sorry about that fight we had in Providence that time." So not only do I not remember being in Providence that time, not only do I not remember a fight, I really don't even remember her. And then she wrote, "I think about it all the time." So for her, I was the kind of ex that you think about all the time. For me, she was the kind I never thought about at all. And that has a bunch to do with where you are in life. And for her, I was the last guy she dated before she got married, which is a very significant spot in the memory bank for anybody. But for me, she was like 30 girlfriends ago. So the one they always think about and the one you never think about, those are two kinds of exes that for whatever reason and circumstance, we do all have them. And finally, the 11th and last one, the worst one, and probably the most common one, is the "what was I thinking" ex. Looking back, was I insane? Did anyone actually warn me? It's sort of the opposite of the friends and family really loved them. It's the everyone hated them. And you look back and think, did I overlook something? Were the signs that obvious? What led me to that? How did I get in that? Thank God I am out of that. It can't be dismissed as young and stupid. And it can't be that ex that had one redeeming quality, because they had no redeeming qualities, no rational explanation. It doesn't fit any of your other dating patterns. There is no saving grace. There is no lesson learned, just nothing good. It was just ick, ugh, yuck, yikes. And I'm not saying I hope you don't have one of those. I think you should all have one of those. Most of us have one of those. Most of us have all of these. And if you have all of these, I mean, you don't have a lousy dating life. You have had a full dating life. So well done, great love listeners. Not necessarily a bad thing, but a necessary learning and growing experience. And so, as always, onward. Exes are simply opportunities that didn't pan out. It only takes one, just not one of these, just not one of these 11 kinds of exes. So don't lose any sleep over them, and definitely don't lose any sleep over Brad and Jen. They absolutely do not care about you. They barely care about each other, and you need not care about them. Ignore those People magazine covers speculating about their reconciliation. It's not happening. It's never happening. And you know what? they'll be fine, and so will you. Jen Aniston, not to get too much into the Jen Aniston again, but she is fully aware of the brand that her and her publicity team have created. The will Jen ever find true love? Will Jen have a baby? Will Jen and Brad get back together? The more that is in the grocery checkout line, the more her career is still going. Long after Friends and a handful of middling movie success and The Morning Show, is that the show she's on now? Like, she's a much bigger star than her career merits, because she's constantly in everybody's face at the supermarket checkout. They're fully aware of poor Jen, poor Jen, poor Jen. That's part of her brand. So poor Jen is not hurting in any way. She's not longing for Brad Pitt. She is not short of opportunities to date. She will be absolutely fine, as you will be too. So take these 11 types of exes, understand them, appreciate them, file them away, and look towards the one in your future. Anyway, check out our live tour schedule. We have actual live shows, not just the virtual show that I talked about at the top of this. Live shows kicking off our resumed, rejuvenated, recidivist. We're diving back into the Great Love live tour schedule. October 7th at Hyenas Comedy Club in Dallas. I don't know what the other ones are, but they are on sale if you go to greatlovedebate.com. I think Raleigh's on sale. Boca Raton, Florida's on sale. Denver might be on sale. I don't know. I should know these. I used to know these, but I've been rusty because we've been out of the game for so long. Check that out. Please like, share, subscribe, and as always, review this podcast. We are on every possible podcast platform. And there are more podcast platforms every single day popping up. So there are more ways to listen to this and more places to listen to this. And every single one of them has a way to comment, share, like, and subscribe. If you're too lazy to do all that, go to ratethispodcast.com/GLD, and it makes it very, very easy for you. And we're very, very appreciative. Shoot us an email, greatlovedebate@gmail.com. Give us your comments on your exes. We are doing some special episode of listener letters coming up in a couple weeks. And then, without further ado, the 2020 version of the Tournament of Terrible Choices, which we will lay out the listeners' past dates, exes, to stay on the exes theme. And we will have a little tournament of who was March Madness bracket style of who has the absolute worst ex in their pool, in their discard pile for the year. Because, as always, despite our focus recently on a bit of the exes, we're always looking to the future. And at the Great Love Debate, we never stop making love. See you next time.